Well. Hey, look, this caught me by surprise. I'm not going to lie to you. I did not think by the time the season started, we was actually going to pull something out of the bag other than Barcola. But I woke up this morning and the first thing I saw on Twitter was that Liverpool are interested in Ibrahim Mbaye. This signing right here, especially with a lack of depth, a lack of option going forward, crucial signing. Amazing player with amazing potential. Still raw, but like I said, the ceiling is high. But only thing I'm very pessimistic about, right, is that, like, is this an alternative for Barcola? Because obviously these last couple of weeks we've been seeing that, like, Liverpool and PSG are at like a stumbling block in terms of trying to find an agreement for the transfer fee. With, I'm not gonna lie to you, 145 million for Barcola is ridiculous. But when you're selling wingers like Anthony Gordon for 80 million, Morgan Rogers for 117 million, and Barcola, who is double time better than the players that I just mentioned, do you really blame PSG for pricing Barcola at that price tag? No, you don't. No, I don't. I definitely don't at all. And it's like, again, weeks and weeks I've been seeing that Liverpool are going back, and Liverpool and PSG have been going back and forth. They've been going back and forth, and I've been kind of thinking to myself, is it going to get a point where we're going to get an agreement? I don't know. But look here, this is perfect. I won't say, okay, not perfect, but this is something. We're seeing movement now, you know, because in one of my last videos, I mentioned that, like, the thing is about this Liverpool Football Club, right, what we like to do, we don't like to focus on, like, multiple targets. We like to focus, we have, like, a main target, one top target, and then we shift our entire summer towards that target until we get it done. And I genuinely thought with Barcola, I thought that was going to be the case, but I was wrong. Ibrahim Mbaye, what can I say about this player? He is absolutely incredible. I'm telling you, I've watched him for Senegal and I've watched him for PSG. Only 18 years of age. He's still raw, don't get me wrong, he's still raw. Had limited game time at PSG, but when he played, he is showing that he can be special. Quick, agile, strong, powerful, both-footed. He is genuinely someone that I could not even accept that I would love to come to Liverpool, because this is exactly what we needed in terms of pace, in terms of power, in terms of unpredictability. This is incredible and I'm happy with it. Especially as well, if we manage to get both Mbaye and Barcola, that would be quality in the forward line. Hence, Hugo comes back from injury. If he remains still the same player, I don't think we should sell Gaspo. I know that obviously Tottenham are really interested in buying Cody Gaspo, but Liverpool are insistent on him not being for sale. But who knows, that could change. But I don't think we should sell him. I think in terms of Cody Gaspo, yes, last season didn't really have the best season overall, but I'm not going to forget for what he had done for us during that title winning season. Yes, you can say Mohamed Salah was kind of the reason why we won it, but in terms of when Mohamed Salah didn't turn up, Cody Gaspo would be the one to kind of pull the strings and bail us out. And his eye for goal is there, you know. Yes, as a left winger, his one-on-one ability is not the best. He can be predictable. But in terms of his clinicalness, in terms of his eyes in front of goal, I think he could be someone that could hold the fort if that needs the rest until Hugo comes back from injury. But until then, who knows? But again, I've always complained last summer, right, about like the lack of depth. And like, I do feel like these last couple of years in terms of our spending. We bought Isaac for 125. We bought Vert for 120. We brought a lot of players, right? We bought some players, but for some massive fee, where we do have a lot of problems elsewhere. You know what I mean? Like our depth in the forward line, if we manage to pull it off with Barcola, with Mbaye, that's sorted. But then the question is that after that as well, is that like if we have a look at this here, right, there's still problems elsewhere. Hence, if we do get those two, I'm still looking at the midfield. I'm still looking at the defense, especially the defense. Oh, Gomez. If look, Liverpool fan, I've loved him for years and years and years. He has been incredible. He's been such a good servant, but I do feel like he can be unreliable at times. Not his fault, but it's the truth. Van Dijk, last year of his contract, 36 years old. He cannot be continuing. We cannot be continuing to be relying on Virgil van Dijk to be the one to start every single game, week in, week out, and hold the fort. At some point, we need to kind of look elsewhere and be like, okay, we need to look at the future and be like, this is who we can rely on. One Van Dijk, call it a day. Because Lione, coming off an ACL injury, still hadn't even participated in training in preseason. Jacquet injured, and he also has not participated as well. So looking at it, it looks like so far we have only one available centre back on paper, and that is worrying because once we get into the season, once Champions League football starts coming in, like, are we going to be able to rely on the likes of Lione and Jacquet to be able to, you know, consistently be available? I don't think so. And then we got the wing backs as well. The left back is not really an issue. You can say some fans out there, you can say the quality in the left back position is not really the best, especially in Costa, Tsimikas and Kirkez. I do, me personally, heavily rate Kirkez, so again, I'm not worried. I do think Tsimikas is a competent backup if needed. But the main issue is right here is the right back situation. The right back situation is worrying. With Frimpong, with Bradley out potentially till 2027, we need to start kind of looking at alternatives where we need to bring someone in. I know last year we kind of rotated between Szoboszlai, we kind of rotated between Curtis Jones. I hear that, I get that, but it comes a time where, again, if we start rotating between the two, it then leaves us with less option in the midfield. Let's say, for example, we take Szoboszlai to right back or Jones to right back. We then only got McAllister, Gravenberg, Vert and Elliott to kind of look upon. That's not many options. To be fair, I did forget Naone, who's having an exceptional preseason as well. But again, we can't be reliant on players who are not familiar in those positions to play the right back position. We need to solve these issues. This has been an issue for a year now since Trent Alexander-Arnold had left. It's not even about the injury-prone Bradley as well. Again, a lot of Liverpool fans do say the quality in Frimpong is not enough to be able to keep convinced to be able to keep starting week in, week out. And also, since moving to the club, picking up a lot of injuries, which is quite unusual. And again, it is worrying because it's like we are 2 weeks away from Premier League season starting and there is still a lot of issues remaining to be fixed. And it's like, where do we go from here? And once we do eventually, fingers crossed, do sort out the signings of Mbaye and Bradley Barcola, are we going to now turn our attention to the centre back, to the right back position and maybe solve it just before the transfer window closes, which is in 3 weeks' time? Again, with my experience as a Liverpool fan, I don't think this is the case. And this is what annoyed me. We always like to be so efficient in our planning in terms of like, okay, let's just take our time. Let's take our time. And it's like, again, how much time do you need? You've had all year to kind of plan in who you can bring in to kind of solve the issue in terms of quality and numbers in where we are lacking. But yet, still, in the moment now, when the transfer window is open, you have still not brought in those plans. You've still not implemented, you've not executed it. And it's like, now we're worried because Gomez is injured, Leone is not come back, Jacquet is still recovering from, there's a lot to deal with. There's a lot to deal with. And it's like, are we going to fix this issue, or are we just going to be the same old club where we just look, let's trust the manager, he will pull something out of the bag and we will find a way to pull a miracle. This is exactly why every single year we go behind and behind and behind competition like Man City, competition like Arsenal. It's because, again, we are so stubborn in our signing. It's ridiculous. We need to act on these problems, or else it would just be more problems. And I'm telling you, I have never been so fearful for a Premier League season in such a long time, in about 12 years, 15 years, because honestly, the quality, the lack of numbers here is extraordinary. It's ridiculous. And it's like, are we going to actually act upon it? Because if not, we are in danger. A lot of danger. We can't be relying on Virgil van Dijk. We can't be relying on Frimpong. We can't be relying on certain players here who will have injuries, who will miss games, to be able to hold the fort week in, week out. It's not possible at all. So that's my issue is there. And it's like Virgil van Dijk on his last year, Alisson on his last year. Again, next year, we still got a plan for more. And it's like, again, how long are we going to hold off on this execution before it gets worse? Van Dijk leaves next summer, Alisson leaves next summer. We're going to need another keeper. Before you know it, we're going to need 2 more centre-backs. Gomez, again, potentially. We're going to need maybe 3. And it's like, where do we go from here? Look, again, my opinion on preseason, I've seen a lot. I've seen, obviously, Kieran Morrison. I feel like he is decent enough to kind of stay behind, kind of hold the fort. Maybe not start, but rotate in and out. I do like him a lot. Leone has been absolutely incredible. I think he could be looking at someone who could be starting week in, not week in, week out, but, you know, given a little bit of more responsibility now, because I feel like he has a lot to offer differently from all the other players who are in the midfield. Rio Engamora, I rate him, but again, he's still very young to be someone to rely on him to be able to start in, week out, but hence, he would still be a good option with a lot more minutes, a lot more game time, especially if we do sign the PSG wingers. I do think Rio Engamora will be a huge asset to our depth in the forward line. It's that, again, hence why I want Gaspo to stay. He will not be reliable, I can tell you that for sure. And I mean in terms of its availability. So we do need to find a backup option, or maybe keep Gaspo there to be able to be okay in the striker line. If not, then there's a lot of signs here. I'm not going to go one by one, but there's a lot of issues here. And it is scary. It is scary. And it's like, are we going to solve it? No? Then, I don't know. Look, it's been a couple weeks, it's been a couple months since we apparently have, like, confirmed our interest in Bradley Barcola. And I get it, PSG are very stingy with their price tag. They're very stubborn. They do value him at 145 million. And like I mentioned earlier on in my video, I don't blame PSG valuing him that high when you look at all the other players who are leaving for a very similar amount in Diamandis, in Morgan Rogers, in Anthony Gordon. But this player, if he were to be signed, he would be incredible. But it's like, how long now? Because I do know in terms of the price tag, in terms of this amount of money being talked about, the discussion takes time. We need to be patient. But again, time is running out. I'm not saying in the sense of like, but I would have loved it for us to kind of be prepared for the Premier League season. But again, that would not be the case. I am very optimistic about this signing happening. But it's like also as well, there is a chance that it could break down. He does want to join us, but it also could be a case of, look, Liverpool might not even spend that another 100 million and we could just wait a year and he could maybe go somewhere else like a Barcelona, like a somewhere else much more attractive. We might not be in a position next year where we could be like, look, we want him for a much cheaper price. Let's get him. Boom. Winners. We are the winner in the pursuit. But again, we don't want to risk it because we might not be in the situation where we have Champions League football, where we have all the players, where we have, you know, we need to act on it now. There cannot be no if, but, or maybe. Because if this does break down, this is a massive loss due to the quality in the wingers market. It is ridiculous. And like, what also has been talked about a lot as well in terms of a lot of fans out there are like, they are very worried about the fact that why are we going for the right-footed? Is anyone going to be putting up Salah's numbers? And I've said this many times, there is no wingers out there that are going to come in and be able to replicate what Mohamed Salah have done, the impact, the consistency. It's not going to be that easy. It's not going to be that easy to find at all. But if we could bring in someone that could basically bring in the kind of quality that could basically break down low blocks, that can basically show the potential in the near future of being consistent, shipping with goals and assists there and then, and maybe bring Isak up to that level where he can bang in the goals, where we can win the title, where we can possibly win the Champions League, then hopefully Bradley Barcola can be that player. Hopefully Mbaye can be that player. Hopefully Victor Muozen, I don't know how to pronounce his name, he could be that player. And look, and I said it earlier, I am very pessimistic about this season, but also with the signings, if we do manage to get all of this done before the end of August, then I can brightly say, okay, with Areola, with the squad we have, with the ideas, I genuinely do think, me personally, I don't know, we would have to see a lot to be able for us to be able to challenge for the Premier League title. But I do say that this season is a write-off. I say maybe 2 more windows, and then after that, we will see the ideas, we will see the potential of the squad coming in place, and hopefully by then we will challenge, we will dominate, we will win the big one. But for now, we can't be stingy. We have to break the bank, or otherwise it will cost us in the near future. It will set us back. Guys, let me know if you guys are worried as well. Let me know if you guys are either optimistic or pessimistic about Liverpool this season, because I might just be overreacting. I might just be, you know, just all over the place. But what the thing is with me, I am willing to give this manager, which he deserves, a time to get all his players, a time to solve all these issues before we can say, okay, there you go. Go ahead and do what you need to do. But what about you guys? Do you think the manager deserves time? Or do you think this is the season where he's supposed to actually do something with the squad? Where, because I'm seeing minimum title challenges, minimum Champions League semi-finals, minimum FA Cup, Carabao Cup. I'm seeing a lot of high expectation, but it's like, I do think that's a little bit overboard. But let me know down in the comment what you guys think. Let me know what your predictions are in terms of where we finish in competition. And also, let me know if you guys are optimistic or pessimistic on signing both Bradley Barcola and Mbaye. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys like more content like this. If you do, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in a bit.